I am Skeletons. I make cartoons for a living. This is a two-parter of a two-part video. Last video was My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade. If you haven't seen that, you can go over there and watch it. And that's why I'm mixing The Black Parade with this album that is called Kid Sees Ghosts. Today we're going to look at Kid Sees Ghosts. Let's start. Kid Sees Ghosts is probably one of my favorite albums that came out last year. It is so good and that it's so wonderful that it really blew my mind as soon as I actually listened to the album. When I talk about this album, as the first thing that when you do search up this album is the cover. And honestly, the cover basically shows everything of what the album offers. It's a very colorful, psychedelic rap album that is so perfect, and it's so lively, and it's so raw that it's just so wonderful to see how great it is. It's an American hip-hop super duo, and it's also composed by Kanye West and Kid Cudi, both people who I also remember that they both didn't like each other, came together and actually made something so beautiful in a way. It's very inspiring, to be honest, but we haven't even got into the actual album yet. Feel the Love. I the song. Also, let me actually talk about the production in this album. The production in this album is so memorable and it's so mesmerizing to see how crazy, and it's so spacey too. It's out of this world, to be honest, but it's crazy. Feel the Love is great. The vocals are great. Halfway, he does the gunshots. It's like and it's so it gets me pumped up. This is literally one of the songs I use when I run. It pumps me up a lot. Fire. It takes on this like Western styled tone. It just makes you feel like you're just putting your freaking boots down, honestly. It's really good. I liked it. Fourth Dimension is another banger. It's great. The sampling is really good in this album. I swear. Like, also the sampling. Boy, the sampling is really great in this album. And you like search up like, I don't know, music video or whatever. The first like 1930s cartoon that has the song over it. And it totally fits in like really good. It's crazy how it does that though. Free. It's good. I love it. It's great. It does get a little tiresome when they do say free. Yeah, that's my only gripe with the song. It just gets really kind of tiresome, and it's like very drawn out. It also like cuts off too, which is also like kind of mixed. I'm kind of mixed with that song. This is probably like the lowest song, but it's not so low. I would just put in like a B tier, to be honest. Reborn. It's phenomenal. Psychedelic, spaces me out. It just makes you think. And this is like the most longest song in the album. 5 minutes. You might say that, oh, it's kind of repetitive when it just keeps saying, keep moving forward, keep moving forward. It doesn't get boring though. It doesn't get boring at all when it does that. Inspirational though, you know? It's kind of like motivating to see both of these very controversial people, Kanye West and Kid Cudi. It's like both of them couldn't catch a break, and it feels like this song basically shows like how alone they feel, how the world has gone against them, and they're just trying to pick themselves up and just keep moving forward. It's kind of like the Black Parade, but in a different tone. I mean, in the Black Parade, it was a lot more raw, and it's a lot more tension heavy, where it just seems like we're gonna keep going forward no matter what, but with like type of anger. While this one just kind of feels more soothing and very calming to just be like, we just need to keep going. We need to go forward. And it's honestly like very inspiring, to be honest. Kid Sees Ghosts, good song. Cudi's montage, however, is pretty damn good. It's strange. It's very weird to think about the song because it also like talks about the struggles of his career. It's also talking about like overcoming their past struggles while also being bipolar. It also like leaves the album in a good mood. Basically talking about the past struggles of what the artists would have been going through. They have to go through their own depression, and they just keep saying to just keep going forward, stay strong. It leaves the album in a pretty high up place, far up in fact that it stays to be one of the best albums of the year. I can't tell you guys enough to like go out and listen to the album yourselves. It's hard hitting album to go through. It's a great album, a perfect album. Well, not really perfect. I mean, there are things that you can improve, but it's pretty high up. Now, a lot of people might be saying, why the hell did you mix the Black Parade with Kitsy's Ghosts? And to be honest, I don't know, I just really wanted to mix the ghost with the skeleton. But I've come to realize that both albums, even though that they both have two separately different tones, and they both do have different emotions, both of them are still raw, and they both still talk about the same struggles of life, and both questioning about their meaning in this whole game of life. Both are still rooting for the person to just keep on living and to keep on going forward. And yes, even though that the Black Parade is just for like emo boys and Kitsy's Ghosts is just too colorful to be compared to that, I think it doesn't matter. I think it just matters of what the listeners think. Yes, might think that both of these two albums don't mix well together. I think they do. It just matters of how emotional and how much of a raw impact it does have with the listener. I think that both of these albums are fantastic. Highly recommend to listen to these. You ask me of which album is easier to pick up, I suggest picking up Kitsy's Ghosts over the Black Parade. And the only reason is because there'll be times that you will feel very depressed after the Black Parade. I mean, after this, I kind of got really sad just by going through the song Cancer again. Better to pick up though, because it's a lot more colorful and it's a lot more lively. And I think it also expresses of a better outlook of what you should look at when you are dealing with these struggles, besides just, well, what the first time listener would think of with the Black Parade, which is just anger and just being pissed off at the world, which is of course not what it is. I'm just assuming what first times people would think of. And of course, it gets me mad when people do this, of course. It gets me mad when people just like, of course, I knew that there were going to be people who are just going to be like, oh, you're now an emo because you like My Chemical Romance? It doesn't matter of what type of music you like. It just matters of what the meaning of it shows. That's what I think. It holds value to me, and I think that's an important thing that all of us should think of when they listen to music. I think this album has so much value that it's honestly one of my favorite albums ever. I'm just gonna say that so far these two albums are way up in my list. So yeah, that's basically all that I want to say about this album. If you haven't still watched the Black Parade video, go over there and watch it. I did make the first cover of the album art. This was only the back cover. If you want to see the artwork, that will be in the description. Hope you liked it. Have a good night. And as always, stay dead.